Don't forget, heads, you can tune in to the Beard Speaks audio podcast every Monday, Friday, and every weekend on a variety of platforms, including Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and more. Hashtag Beard Speaks is the name, and if you can't find it on your favorite platform, you can always find it on anchor.fm/BeastHostBeard. Like, favorite, subscribe, and leave a positive review for your motherfucking boy. With legalization sweeping the nation, it's important to know where and who your cannabis products are coming from. With Bobby's Buds, he's putting his damn name right on it. Originator of the Faygo-flavored cannabis concentrate cartridge, highly sought after, truly trusted, powerfully potent cannabis products. Bobby's Buds, he's the plug's plug. Hit him up on Instagram at BobbyTheBarber1. What up, heads? You know what it is, you know what it does, and you know what it is trying to say. It's the motherfucking Beard Speaks. I am Chuck Reeves, last name host, first name Beast. Look me up. Use the Google, use the internet. Shouts and motherfucking flame emojis to everybody out there tuned in, whether this is audio, video, or otherwise entering your brain cells. Make sure whatever the platform, please like it, share it, leave a comment, something. Let me know that it's real. Sponsors, all the love to y'all. rapromos.net, Beard Love, Bobby's Buds, and 656 Fest are all major benefactors of all Chuck Reeves things. The Patreons, much love to all of you. I will see you all Thursday night for that invite-only live stream. Patreon.com/BeastHostBeard if you want to get down with the get down on that interactive, behind-the-scenes, exclusive beard shit. My Instagram is poof, gone. Why? Because 17%ers. So Facebook is still available. So I am not quite completely gone from social media yet, albeit I seem to be inching closer to that milestone. At BeastHostBeard on the Facebook, if you are interested. Of course, at BeastHostBeard on the Patreon. That's where a lot of pictures and a lot of postings and things are going, is over to that fucking Patreon feed where it probably deserves to go. Please, due to this recent bullshit, share. Share this with your fucking social media feeds. Share it with your friends. Share it with the peeps at home. It's very super important right now to the growth and substance of the program during these completely unfair social media blackouts that I'm suffering. Today, we're going to keep on trudging. We got a new, very big beard-related entertainment showdown. We got a new guest, R Molyneux. He's a writer. He's a pop culture expert. And overall, he's also a British subject. He cut his teeth as a writer on the show Tales from a Timelord, which is an officially recognized Doctor Who fan series. He's very knowledgeable on a lot of fronts, and we typically have these offline conversations every damn week. So this online one was kinda over fucking due. It was super entertaining. We talked about a bunch of shit. We talked about Troma. We talked about the Toxic Avenger. We talked a lot about British stuff. We talked about Kevin Spacey's creepiness. We talked about some conspiracy shit. And then we talked a whole bunch about the current state of pop culture, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and some ideas for some movies that he's had. Go ahead and settle your little ass in. Episode 213 is live. High level, isn't it? With R Molyneux. The Beard Speaks now.
Oh, come on, he's a miserable cocksucker fucking asshole. You hate him, admit it.
I'm enjoying the fuck out of your shirt. But yeah, so I know you know those movies because I see the collection your parents have, but fucking all them fucking crazy ass movies, man. In the Mouth of Madness is definitely a real one though. So what did you want to talk about? Because I know you have ideas.
I do have ideas, man.
We talk about a zillion things every time you come over, and
I know.
Last time you proved you were able to kick it with the homies.
Oh, that's good.
So we're gonna see There is some stuff I do want to run by you during today.
I'm glad I've like stamped my card on there now.
Oh, you had your card stamped, essentially, for the most part.
Well, now it's...
But being here with Duddy and like, for real, last week's episode with Duddy was the first episode that went up without any cuts.
Damn, son.
Like, everybody has cuts in their shit. And even when I left, it was mad funny to hear y'all talking. Because it was funny me just going, I'm checked out.
I know.
And then I just got up and left. It was like,
we talked about Dragon Ball and he just walked.
Yeah, I was like, I'm checking out. I missed that shit by about fucking 20-something years, I'm sure. I don't know. What was my equivalent? Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Okay.
That's the one thing about Homeboy. Is he took an R-rated movie in The Toxic Avenger that was nearly an X-rated fucking horror movie and turned it into a Saturday morning kids TV show called The Toxic Avenger and the Toxic Friends. And it was a precursor to Captain Planet where they were like, yeah, we're filming, but it doesn't matter. It's loose as shit. Say something. Don't be afraid. Ain't nothing. But he got the same licensing deal that Ninja Turtles did for this Toxic Avenger, and it was like a precursor anti-toxic waste, anti-environment. The bad guy was named Dr. Kill 'Em Off, I think.
All that's happening with me right now is, the first 20 minutes of Toxic Avenger is just playing in my head.
Yeah, it's like, he was able to turn that into that, and then Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, which he wrote, apparently.
It's like the best hustle I've ever heard in my fucking life.
That movie was specifically geared to become a Saturday morning cartoon. The Kabuki police officer from the NYPD.
I mean, it sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Are you not familiar with Kabuki Man?
No, but I feel like I'm about to be.
Yeah, you about to be, man. Well, hold on. Let me play you this one thing, because if you weren't familiar with the Toxic Avenger and the Toxie Friends, jeez, man. Let me tell you, this guy lucked out, but this was the same time they were making a lot of money distributing other people's shit, and there's even a story in there about Reading Rainbow. And at one point in time, Troma had acquired the rights to the merchandising arm of Reading Rainbow.
I just want to say, by the way, because Flea's with Becky and stuff, do you want to sort the door out and stuff?
Oh no, we just leave the door. We just leave the door. I'm not worried about it. That's mostly for when the kids are here, honestly.
Okay.
If the kids aren't here, there's no real reason.
That makes sense to me.
The sound will just drift out. And here I am, first day, like I've never done this before. There we go.
That's very Batman the Animated
Oh wait,
series
you ain't seen shit yet.
The skyline and the red skies and stuff.
And the creator of this and the writer of one of the first season episodes is coming on my show next week.
Oh damn.
Of course, it's fucking got that terrible Troma music we all know and love. That Troma fucking scream. And remember, this was definitely before Captain Planet. And definitely the same style of animation as the Ninja Turtles, as you can see.
Again, yes.
And literally, this was created to achieve the same ends merchandise-wise. And I had I had the big nose guy. He came with slime that came out of his fucking giant nostrils. And they all had toxic-related superpowers. And they were against Dr. Kill 'Em Off, the guy with the mask. I think I had all of them at one point in time. But he came with all the shit you think he would come with. He came with a fucking mop and a bucket. A little thing of toxic waste slime. But they added a bunch of characters, but they were successful in taking what was an X-rated film, essentially, like an X-rated gore, exploitation, sexual horror film, and making it a fucking kids cartoon. It's a little disturbing that they were able to do that so effectively.
It kind of reminds me of, do you know the animated series of Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
It kind of
Beetlejuice to me was always
obviously
kitschy.
It's a whole nother level, but
I think because it's Burton, I think Toxic Avenger is way worse.
Yeah, me too. But it reminds me of that because I would say that Beetlejuice is like quite close to like that R rating. I know it's like whimsical and stuff and very kitschy.
Well, that's why I fucking love
They
it.
go to some like dark places in that movie.
They always go dark places. We've talked about this before for sure, but like the story of Anastasia and Anastasia being a Disney princess. Bitch, you died in the bottom of an unmarked grave someplace outside of Leningrad. Like, you should not be a Disney princess. And Mulan, who probably would not have made it past childhood because they would have thrown her in the ocean.
Man, I tell you what is pretty cool. There's a live action Mulan movie, and it's like made by China.
Really?
Yeah, because in the original legend and shit, like she doesn't go in as like this like noble girl who doesn't know anything. Like she goes in and she's like already better at kung fu than everyone else and shit because she's from like a noble house. And like in medieval China and medieval Europe, the only people who actually knew how to like use swords and shit were people from rich families because they were the only people who could afford a master at arms.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, and she ends up becoming like a general herself. And like she like hacks people to pieces in that movie, man.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in those movies. I'm just like, yup, you're missing a huge part. You're missing something to make it at least grounded in reality.
The thing that always got me about the Disney Mulan is that Hua Mulan, who's like the mythological figure, I'm like a big old egg. I'm like white on the outside, Asian on the inside. Like I love like Chinese history and stuff. But the actual character was a badass. And I feel like they really downplayed that in the movie because it's a Disney princess.
Yeah.
And now we're in this era with like these live action Disney movies coming out, and we've seen that like female action heroes can sell if they're done right. Like there's without any doubt. I think the time has come to like do that.
Well, there's a bunch, man. Because so I'm seeing obviously with the coming. Well, we saw Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was the female Black Panther. It's the only way I can describe that. That was the female Black Panther, but it was also a good flick. We got Captain Marvel coming. They're putting a lot of stake in that, and I know you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Know
which
about Captain Marvel,
I have to look that up. But then there's other things coming too. Dirk Manning, who's the comic writer for Twisted's Haunted Highon series, is actually dropping a new comic called Hope.
Okay.
And it's like a mom. Think like stay-at-home mom who her family. Think I Dream a Genie, but instead of a genie, she's a superhero and nobody knows.
Okay.
But her. Kind of shit. That apparently is what the vibe I'm getting from it. Okay. So I feel like the whole industry, including the actual print books, are turning to this female-centric sort of
I like that it's an original character. I think that's going to be a lot better.
Well, he's an underground dude. Dirk Manning,
that's good. Then
he deals with Source Point Press. He wrote a couple of things. He wrote a book called Nightmare World. He's wrote some other books. He works with these Italians that are just super fucking talented illustrators.
I fell off with like Marvel comics and stuff because
I haven't read an actual comic book in ages.
Everybody knows about the whole comic gate thing. I know which side of it I'm on, but like they've been pushing these versions of female characters that are poorly realized and poorly written. And then when those characters fail because they're poorly realized and poorly written, they blame it on like the sexists and shit.
Brie Larson clarified her controversial comments.
Go for it. Go see what she has to say.
This was a couple of hours ago. That's the thing I had been hearing lately is that some of the press and advanced testing of the movie was going bad because she said some man-hating ass shit that you would not expect out of... Can you push that door just a tad? See, now I think it'll... There we go. Maybe not.
I got this.
Potentially.
I got this. You're going to have me wanting wings in a minute.
Wings are fucking slamming.
I know.
Don't blame me for your desire to have wings, English boy. Do you even have wings where you're from, or is it called something else?
No, we have wings.
You don't even have wings. You have flats. And you can't even say you don't have flats because there's flats all over that motherfucker, and flat rent is expensive. So tell me about queuing. Because I heard a funny story. All
right.
So I seen a funny story the other day. Well, let me turn off this, and we'll go back to Brie Larson in a fucking second.
Yeah.
But
she could wait.
I heard a story that like there was some sort of a riot.
Probably.
And motherfuckers broke a window out and then formed a line. No. They formed a line.
Okay.
To walk in and steal and then leave. Like they were very orderly.
That is the most
in their rioting.
British thing
it is.
I have ever heard.
The other thing I heard was like,
oh
so
my
everybody knows that y'all had those subway bombings, and that there was someone else who tried a subway bombing later.
Okay.
And whoever it was got caught. And the officer who caught the guy said, "You're a very rude man," when he caught him. And it was like, it was not Sylvester Stallone in Cobra at the least bit. But it was like the most British shit I've ever heard.
You're a very rude man. Or something like that.
Rude man. As he's busting a Muslim with a fucking vest on. See, I'm not liking...
I think,
I hate this room. I hate this fucking room. I hate this camera. Actually, let me do this. Let me do that. And actually use all fucking tools at my disposal instead of being a dumbass. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. More importantly than me is you being on. Everybody knows I'm fucking here. But, so tell me about queuing. When was the first time you stood in line for something?
No, I can't remember. That was too
when was the first time that the Crown convinced you to calm down? When was the first time?
Okay, so they teach us to like queue from like nursery, like.
Well, we know how to stand in lines, but it's not like it's not.
No, we take it seriously.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like maybe
because it's an inherently fair system, and because like British society is meant to be built on like fairness,
inherently fairness.
Yeah, inherent fairness and like very like old school like liberal values. And one of those is like you wait your turn.
Okay.
And like.
So there's no fast pass in the Queen's Kingdom. Is that what you're fucking telling me?
I mean, yeah.
One time I stood in a line.
It depends on the circumstance, but yeah.
I typically don't stand in line for fucking anything.
Mm-hmm.
The longest I've ever stood in line was like 4.5 hours. And that was for...
You sweet summer child.
The Spider-Man, like, universal fucking thing. And it was like the weekend it opened.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the longest lines ever. And I'll never do that again. I don't even wait in line at shows anymore. I won't... Like, if there's a line, I just abandon whatever it was I was trying to get.
Well...
Typically. Well, I mean, I'll stand in line.
I've had it drilled into me, so I can't relate to that. I don't know.
See, I won't stand fuck a line.
I've stood in line for 12 hours. For
Sheep stand in line
because
on their way to
bred
the
into
slaughterhouse.
us, like you said, we're like bred to like worship the crown. So the longest I've stood in line is probably like 12 hours or some shit.
On some crown type shit. Speaking of, did you see what Jay and Beyonce did? So I guess your press has been tearing up, old girl.
Why? What's going on?
Merkel.
Oh, okay.
Like they just been treating her like shit. Apparently, like I don't understand.
We're talking about Angela Merkel.
No, not Merkel.
Okay.
The Queen. The Queen. She's
Meghan
my
Markle.
queen to be. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to make a black joke, but that's essentially what we have going on in the UK right now, because Harry did the most uncouth thing the Crown could imagine. And married a black lady.
Oh, that, okay.
And so I guess she's been getting fucking like dragged in.
Honestly, I think that there's more of an issue for most people with the fact that she's not of what we would call like proper breeding than the fact that she's black. And what we mean by what is meant by that is like, and I think it's very different in the US from what I've seen, is we have a very rigid class system.
So,
and if you're gonna marry someone and you're royalty, at the very, very, very least, you should marry someone from like the upper echelons.
Yeah, but he knows he's not gonna be king, and he knows he's not his brother. Like we've talked about that too, where he knows he's not his fucking brother. That's true. So he knows he's typically
you mean the James Hewitt thing? Do you want to get the picture up?
So no. No, we don't have to talk about all that conspiracy shit because there's enough going on now.
Conspiracy.
Some people have actually made the comparison to die. Like they're gonna but this is what's fucking everybody up, and I guess this is what's causing the problem. Is that she said that they're getting ready to name that baby Diana. Ooh. And people literally are on Twitter going, "Baby girl, they killed her. They'll kill you too. Like they'll kill you too." But given the fact that Harry isn't Charles's son, he could fucking be like, wipe them both, just poof them both. Plane crash, boat sank, tiger attack, fucking any number of fucking things. Car accident. That's not his kid. You just said it. Harry's not his kid.
The problem with what you're suggesting is that it lacks that certain gentlemanly swagger. See, I think what's more likely...
We're not dealing with gentlemanly swagger.
No,
We're dealing with a 180-year-old woman who's been drinking the blood of children to stay alive, who outlived her friend and child pimp. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so the way I can see it going down is that instead of, like, killing her off because she named her kid Diana...
No, but it's way more than that.
They'll repurpose the Diana name because that name and that brand
really fucked up. Like I guess
super valuable in terms of soft power. So what you're going to see is them retaking the name Diana and molding it into something they want.
Somebody painted this picture of Megan as the Mona Lisa, right? Okay. So Jay and Beyonce win the Brit Award for Best Record or whatever of the year, some shit, right? And this is what they put up. And this starts like exactly like the video that they did as a group.
Thank you so much to the Brit Awards for this incredible honor. You guys have always been so supportive. Everything is lovely. Thank you. You're welcome.
But they're saying that that was them like showing more respect to her than to the Queen at the Brit Awards.
I thought it was a little like awkward and weird and a little bit like.
Well, they had another thing. They had another thing that.
I'm not upset over it.
I mean, people fucking make a big deal out of a lot of shit, but there's been a couple of weird fucking things. I mean, did I tell you about homeboy? What's his fucking name? This probably won't make the show, but I'll show it to you. This shit's way too high level for my viewers. This might end up on the Patreon, so it's still going to tape.
Oh, okay.
But Kevin Spacey's weird video.
Do it. Do it. Let's do this.
So you saw, okay, so Kevin Spacey, blah, blah, whatever.
I know. I know. I'm all caught up on the Kevin Spacey.
So he put out this video, let me be frank, right? Did you see this video?
No.
This is so fucking weird, okay? And it gets weirder.
Do it. I want to see this shit.
Let me turn it up just a hair.
Right. I need this in my life right now, Chuck. You need to give it to me.
Here comes the deep dive. Here comes the deep dive.
Man, I want it to be the deepest.
Wait.
Hi, Kevin.
Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong.
He's his character. He's one of his characters.
He's Frank Underwood, yeah.
Yeah, but watch.
I showed you exactly what people are capable of.
Listen to what he's saying. And look at the cup he's drinking from.
And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't.
You trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. And then he lifted the cup. You know what that cup is? That's Queen Elizabeth's personal crest. Those cups are only given to people that are knighted. He's reminding people in power. He knows where all the bodies are buried. And they trusted him with that information.
Okay.
He was on Epstein's private jet a lot.
Okay.
With a lot of people. That cup is part of the whole Jimmy Savile thing too.
It's also quite interesting because of like the usual suspects and the association.
Boom,
like when Kevin Spacey picks up a cup, you fucking pay attention.
We don't scratch the surface. We don't scratch the surface, fam. We go deep, motherfucker. We go deep, homeboy. So that's the cup, and I'll show you another video after this. That this is tied these things.
Transmogrifying into fucking.
But did you hear what he said right before he lifted the cup?
You trusted me,
even though you knew you shouldn't. So you knew the type of person I was because that's why you trusted me. Because we're all these type of people. Yo.
So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy? If it was all so simple.
There's something with the Santa Claus thing, too. I forget what it was.
But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you?
Yeah, we would, fam.
I mean, it is the current year, so...
Anyway, all this presumption made for such an unsatisfying ending. And to think it could have been such a memorable send-off. I mean, if you and I have learned nothing else these past years, it's that in life and art, nothing should be off the table. We weren't afraid, not of what we said, not of what we did, and we're still not afraid.
Okay, man, let's pause that there, because, like, I got something to...
Look at that crazy motherfucker!
I know!
But yeah, this is some deep dive black belt shit. Because the connection to the royal family and the Seville thing and the cup and him being on Epstein's plane.
Every single word that he says has like 5 different
Oh, I
layers to
know. And he's like, everyone's watching. Your average person's going to think I'm a nut. But motherfuckers who I know who were on those trips with me are going to know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And he's basically putting it out there. Look, you ain't going to be able to kill me now. By doing this, he basically makes himself an untouchable. He can't suicide himself. Because it'll look really weird. It'll certainly look strange if he suicides himself.
If I didn't pay the price for the things we both know I did do, I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't.
This is some ill principation.
So basically,
shit,
he's
man.
saying,
Oh my God.
he's like, this whole other shit that I'm up for, you know I didn't do that. You know I did a bunch of other shit, though, and I'll pay for that. But you'll pay for it, too.
This is so bizarre.
Yeah.
By the rules, like I ever played by anyone's rules before. I never did. And you loved it.
You're a fucking weirdo guy.
Yeah.
Despite all the poppycock, the animosity, the headlines, the impeachment without a trial, despite everything, despite even my own death, I feel surprisingly good. And my confidence grows each day that soon enough you will know the full truth.
It's interesting how he didn't quite tip the cup
Yeah.
when he said that as he took the pause.
Now that I think of it, you never actually saw me die, did you?
He's such a weirdo, but I also think that there's way more to this.
What was that ring he just put on?
That was the character's ring, I think.
Okay.
Because he just got written off. He didn't actually... Now, why he would pick that particular character, I don't know why. And
Look at
then
the comments.
that music.
Let's look at the comments.
10 million views on that shit, right?
I bet.
It's
Well,
just
who am
one
I to
uncut
judge?
scene. It is just one uncut take. That's pretty good. This is this is better than the entirety of House of Cards. See, these aren't the ones. There's... I'm going to put on the other video that I seen. That I was like, no. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
This is the video that fucked me up.
Are we about to dive into like the...
Oh, yeah,
details?
we are.
Are we about to get the bends?
Yeah, we are about to get the bends because we're going deep. The audio on this shit's probably turned down for a reason.
Yeah, whatever.
The
We know what
same
he
way.
said.
But like... And that's what it says on the cup. Those cups are like very special.
You know, he was like a big player on the London theatre scene.
Oh, I bet he was.
Yeah.
All right.
He did Shakespeare at the Globe like a lot, man.
He could know a lot, and that's the thing. Like by doing this kind of a video,
And like we know now that this is like a go-to trick to like destroy someone.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, now they're kind of like getting pretty broad. they got pretty broad with the
I've
strokes.
read like 3 of those pedophile articles myself, and like.
But the big thing was the cup and the way
Yeah.
he's talking and shit.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, he's talking to. That's what they're claiming, is that he's talking directly to people out there. That he's gonna look. You let me go down for this, and then trust. I'm gonna tell everybody. And he's probably already committed most of that shit to tape. You got to think. And like he's speaking to the queen, too, to some degree, I would assume, or everybody who's ever been given one of those cups. Who's this guy? He's getting cut out of the show.
You know, all of a sudden, this became real hard to take seriously. Hey,
on today's podcast,
hey, buddy.
We'll be going over an array of different subjects. We'll be going over memes. We'll be going over this subreddit conspiracy where it says this creepy unsorted. All the pedo with pervs will be told to sign it.
All right. Now we're in fucking Weirdoville.
Yeah, we're done.
But you get it. You see why, and that's why I don't like talking about this type of shit on the show, because it can go sideways. But yeah, that Kevin Spacey shit is a little insane.
A little bit, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Are we alone? Roswell. No. Highest classification.
What?
So, what did she say? Maybe you know better. I don't even know what she said.
Okay, so she said...
All I heard was that comic book chick who I don't like.
Okay.
Fucking
so I'm
running her mouth about something, and I'm like, you look like Tank Girl, kind of. But, like, you look like a G4 co-host. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't what's her name. You look like every G4 co-host that wasn't what's her name. I'm gonna end up putting a picture of that bitch up on the screen so people know what I'm talking about. Comic book girl. What is it?
19.
Comic book. I don't know who the fuck you are, but you annoy the shit out of me. But she was.
I just want to say that I know who she is, and I kind of like her.
Really, she was squawking about something about this shit, and I was like, I don't know. So what? I don't know. Like
everyone's like their worst selves when they talk about like political stuff. So, you know, it's hard to judge someone from that.
No, there were other things about her that fucking bugged the piss out of me, too. I've seen a couple of her videos.
Yeah, fair enough.
But so what did this chick say? What did
she
Captain Marvel say?
She didn't want... at first, she said she was talking about how she noticed that most movie critics are, like, white males, and that needs to change.
Okay.
And the second thing she said is that she didn't want her press tour to be overwhelmingly white and male. And the issue with that is that, so you make that complaint, you don't want your press tour to have too many of people with a certain skin color and a certain genitalia. Okay. The problem with doing that is, if you take that
you're being exclusionary.
Well, no, that too, but it's worse than that. It's way worse than that. Okay. The only possible solution to the issue of there being too many like white males in that is to select the people based on their race and gender.
Oh, obviously, because the reason that there's mostly white males is because there's mostly white males. Period. There's mostly white males in this country. So when you are dealing with anything, for the most part, the majority of the people involved are going to be white males.
And guess who the main
with a few exceptions.
Main demographic for Captain Marvel
is? White females. White females.
No. it's going to be like white males 18 to 34.
You think so?
Like, all comic
with
movies.
This whole hero, her thing?
I mean, not anymore, but like it's meant to be. I think they lost their audience. But
what did she say? What I'm looking for is to bring more seats to the table. No one is getting their share taken away. That's not less seats to the table. There's just more seats to the table. So, okay, then you need to like fund a bunch of chicks who aren't white to fucking
That reminds me
pop
of
culture
when,
stuff. That's the other thing. Most females, especially females of races other than Caucasian, there's not many nerd culture people. And that's why, I mean, there's a girl called Black Nerd, I think, on YouTube. The reason that she even has a brand is because she's one of a few. and it's become like a niche thing. Mm-hmm. That's the way the demographic skews as a fucking whole, period. So her saying that's kind of bullshit.
And you know what else is kind of a big thing to consider as well? The kind of people who care about that. Like the kind of person who's going to see Black Nerd's YouTube channel and go, oh, they're black. I need to sign up to that because they're black. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it's pandering, and I don't...
No, but the thing is, those people don't buy comic books. Okay. Those people will watch the movie on like Netflix,
they're not worried about the
book
book selling. They're not worried about the book selling.
Well, they are.
Films are keeping the books afloat. I mean, but they continue to.
It's only going to be a matter of time before people start getting like
Black Panther
from those comic books.
Black Panther skewed the demographic in a big way, but those folk who came out for Black Panther specifically for very specific reasons are not going to be coming out for Captain Marvel because those reasons do not exist in that narrative.
Yes.
I'm hearing they're talking about bringing Blade back. Whether that Blade is actually Wesley Snipes or not, we'll see. I'd love there to maybe be Wesley as an older... Maybe he's the new Whistler and he had a son or something. Because there was a thing I learned earlier this week, actually. The way Wesley got to Blade was through Black Panther.
Okay.
He was attached to a Black Panther project at the time that never came to fruition, and he went and did the Blade project instead. Now, with the way Blade would be probably bigger, and you put Wesley in it, even if he's got to pass it on to somebody. And that's even something, if you don't have a long-term plan for fucking Killmonger.
They do. He's coming back.
Yeah, but if you don't, you make somebody like Michael K. Jordan fucking Blade. Like, anybody that does a better job than Sticky Fingers, I mean, you ain't even got to be as good of a Blade as Wesley. You just got to be comparable. And fucking... What Sticky Fingers tried to do in the TV version of Blade was basically he tried to recreate the Wesley Snipes.
You have to do something totally different.
He did a Wesley Snipes impersonation, and it's like you can't do that.
The one issue I have with having the Wesley Snipes Blade be in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it has nothing to do with Wesley Snipes because obviously he fucking rocked shit in that movie. But the character of Dracula is in Blade Trinity.
Okay.
And in the Marvel comics, Dracula is like a really major supervillain and has like a bunch of interesting stories. I think that he's horribly treated in that movie, and it wastes an opportunity to like do that character.
Wait, oh, you're talking about in Blade Trinity?
Blade Trinity.
I actually like that fucking character.
Yeah, but imagine that character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think.
Maybe with somebody different in it and written better. I'm not saying that character. I'm not even saying that movie was good. Of the three, that was my least favorite.
It's everyone's least favorite.
And 2 might be my favorite.
Because
it put him with a group of other people. Like, but if you look at the history, the guy who did the first Blade movie was a videographer from music videos.
Okay.
Like nearly strictly.
You can see that.
And so the pacing for him was mad important. Where it was like, okay, it's going to be slow for about a minute, and then bang, it's going to speed up and never stop.
Yes.
I think with a fucking better actor and without fucking, what's her name? Not Piper Perabo. Who played the female vampire in Trinity?
I don't even remember.
This chick who is whiny. Please, Dark Lord, don't kill me. I hate that bitch so much in that movie. But she's been in so many other good movies. What the fuck is her name?
I don't even know.
That shit's gonna bother me. She's
Let's
like
get out of the way
she's
now.
like she's an indie darling for in the United States. Like she did a shit ton.
Let's find out who she is then.
Independent movies, but it's not Piper. I think it's Pepper. It's something with a fucking P. Blade. And then obviously without Blade Trilogy or Blade Trinity rather, you don't get Deadpool.
Yeah, that's true.
You do not get Deadpool.
It's very true.
Parker Posey. Are you familiar with Parker Posey?
No.
She's a fantastic fucking actress, but she was awful in Blade Trinity. That was like the first time she really tried to...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like obviously you know who that chick is.
Yes.
But she never really was in anything huge until then. And like, her shit was gross.
So,
but I'd like to see Blade, bro. Like, why do? Yeah. Okay, so
to too.
But so they would have to disregard those earlier movies, or maybe not.
I think disregard them. I think let someone have like a fresh.
Now,
take
now
at
wait
it.
a minute. Now was Homeboy in? Homeboy in Trinity was not Dracula. He was not Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, you could pull like a Mandarin thing, I guess,
Was,
and have like
he was the
different
physical
person,
embodiment of the fucking
I don't remember,
Chupacabra.
man. That movie is
Like
so
no,
trash.
it was the
I can't
Chupacabra. He was like the
remember.
blood god, fucking hemoglobin or some shit, and he buried himself because he got bored. The thing about Trinity that pissed me off too is that the beginning was super similar to the idea that Anne Rice had for Lestat, where he had like out of boredom was like, "Fuck, I'm so bored. Let me just bury myself," and then some damn kids in their rock and roll music woke him up, kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But Blade to me was always dope because of the concepts that like of the idea of the actual vampire world and the technological advancements that they had figured out to make their lives possible.
Imagine
You know
if
what I
there was
mean?
like a secret vampire conspiracy in the Marvel universe all along. You know what I mean? Like that'd be cool.
Even like a movie like what was the one with they were running out of blood
Oh, it had.
and Homeboy had fixed himself during a
It's
car
really
accident.
good as well.
And it's like,
It's
oh,
right on the
you
tip of
never
my tongue.
thought the only problem I had with that movie was the payoff, where it was like, oh, if you go in the sun and then jump in water, you won't be a vampire anymore. And I'm like, all these
That's
fucking
really easy.
years,
That's so simple.
and this shit didn't even happen by
Never
accident,
occurred to anyone.
except for the one fucking guy.
Yeah, right.
There's only one dude, and
You
all
don't think
these,
some like frat boy vampire is like gonna play a prank or some shit, or like some
And then
played shit?
nobody decided to try it after this first guy until fucking Homeboy came around. Like, you couldn't find nobody else. Hey, you don't like being a vampire, right? Clearly, there's people out there that don't like being vampires. So,
Oh
but
my
like,
god, you just ruined that movie for me.
I
man.
like the technological, the idea of technological advances
Is it Daybreakers?
being made. Daybreakers.
Daybreakers, that's it, yeah.
The idea of the vampires making technological advances, the idea of these blood parties. That's why I like the first Blade so much too. Is because
They treated it kind of like it was an
up till
underground
then,
subculture.
yeah, up
almost.
till then you had two different types of vampires. You had strictly like your fucking classic Victorian
like Dracula,
Bram
kind of,
Stoker,
Nosferatu,
and then
yeah.
you had your romanticized French version, which was your fucking Anne Rice.
And in this movie, they're just people.
They're
just
not.
people,
They're
you know what I mean?
badasses. Like
They're badasses,
They're
yeah.
self-aware. They're
Exactly.
self-aware to a point. Like Dracula was not nearly as self-aware of what he was capable of doing than Deacon Frost.
That's what I'm
was.
talking about,
Deacon
though,
Frost
like-
was literally walking the street, manipulating his reality as he went along, like through hypnosis and other vampire powers. Like Dracula was doing that shit individually late at night. Like, get the fuck out of here! You weren't.
What I mean when I say that they're people is that if you look at Dracula, say, or you look at like the Anne Rice vampires, the Dracula thing, him being like evil and stuff is like his one thing.
Yeah.
And then being romanticized is like their one thing. And every character trait is built around that thing. In the Blade movies, particularly the first one, the second one too, not the third one. They just abandoned it for some reason. The vampires are three-dimensional. They're actually world-built properly, and you could believe that a society like this would exist in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean, though?
Yup.
And, like, you look at, like you're saying about
Because
Deacon
it's
Frost.
the same thing that you see with like regular human trafficking and shit like that, and like the idea of them being in the back of the Japanese club with the
Yeah.
Japanese kids. Of course, that's where they would be. Like, it's not even surprising. Like the idea of the blood rave and the fucking.
I know, like, you
slaughterhouse
spend that
isn't
whole
even
time
surprising.
watching that movie going, oh, that makes sense.
Because you're like, what would I
That
do if
makes
I was
sense,
a fucking
yeah.
vampire? Would I wear a fucking cape and a red fucking medallion and fly around?
No, you'd be a fucking club rat.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
a fucking club rat. I'd be
Yeah.
out until and it'd be crazy shit all night long. And that shit, normal people in that time frame of overnight are weird anyway. You saw Constantine.
Yeah.
The club scene is probably, in my opinion, one of the best fantasy / horror scenes in any movie ever. Where there were vampires and whatever the fuck. There was a bunch of other types of ghoul and goblin in that motherfucker too. And they were like the water being
It's
turned
definitely like a
into the
different
wine.
take on that Blade scene, though,
Yo,
for sure.
yeah, but like the idea of dealing with just vampires,
Yeah.
that's one thing. And I can deal with, okay, you're going to have just vampires. But when they opened up the Constantine thing, and so you're dealing
There's,
with
like,
vampires,
demons
you're
and
dealing with
shit,
demons,
too.
you're dealing with like, the idea of like relics, which I loved, and I was trying to explain to her about why people collect Charles Manson's hair, for example. Same sort of idea. Like, just that world building of, yo, there's ill shit out there. And if you go to the right spot or the wrong spot, you might end up encountering this crazy ill shit.
I know, it's such a good thought and such a good.
And we've
template for, like,
most of us
stories
have been
and
to a
stuff, yeah.
place. I mean, even they fucked that movie up. The one with Aaliyah as the vampire princess, Queen of the Damned. In my opinion, they fucked that shit up.
Me too.
But the beginning of that with like the club, that bar, okay, because we all know that spot. We've either been in there and it's been shady, or we just never have and it's just shady. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I know
that
what
shit
you mean.
ties that shit. Because other worlds exist right on the other side of shit, depending on what city you go to, too.
That's really true, man.
I mean, night times in Hong Kong. Can I bum one of those from you?
Yeah,
I just
man,
don't
of
want to
course.
reopen the fucking door at this point.
Of course. I know, there's like whole other worlds going on right behind closed doors. And as you say, people either see it and experience it, or like they don't and they know it's there. It's like an instinctive, like animal, primal thing, I think. So speaking of like the Marvel stuff and potential future shit for Marvel, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that I also wanted to talk about something kind of positive rather than just bitching about Brie Larson, because everyone's doing that. Fuck that. Let's do something a bit more fresh. So, I have a couple of ideas for where the Marvel Cinematic Universe can go, specifically with the characters they've acquired from Fox. After Endgame, and I think everything's still up in the air from their perspective on Endgame as well.
What do you mean? I don't think with the movie coming out in 40 days or 60 days?
That's enough time to do plenty of reshoots, man.
They gotta have the
They're-
fucking effects finalized by now.
They don't have the effects finalized until like 2 days after that movie comes out. They're still popping characters in and out of scenes, man. Those movies are like done on a factory
I don't know
line.
if I believe that or not.
You should hear some of the stories about like the making of Civil War and like how they dropped the Hulk in like trailers for Infinity War.
Yeah, and
just
then
to,
he
just to fuck with people.
yeah.
And like that was like a last minute thing. He was gonna turn into the Hulk at the end of that movie, and then at the last fucking second, right before it came out, they were like, "Nope, we shouldn't do that. Let's save it for Endgame."
But they've spent a lot of money on like the Krulls and
Yeah, because the Skrulls and the Korean stuff are really important components.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they know that the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are going to make them a fucking $1 billion each if they do it right. And the Skrulls are a really important component. And this is why I wanted to kind of break down for you. We'll start with X-Men, because that's kind of the easiest, like, launching pad, okay?
Okay.
Like, so I don't know how you feel about the Fox X-Men movies.
which, like in particular, which ones? 'Cause-
Like all of them as a whole. Because I have one word that I think of, and that's unsatisfying.
okay, I'll give you that.
And I think that
Because they never told the stories that motherfuckers wanted them to tell.
Yes, they never told the stories. They were fixated on elements that were interesting for 1 or 2 movies, but you can't make 10 out of them. And they focused on the wrong people. It turned into the Wolverine show very quickly because Wolverine is very cool
Well, no,
and
but
marketable.
we've learned in the movies that the leaders in the books and the people that aren't necessarily the leaders in the movies, with few exceptions, obviously. Well, no, because even now, Superman is not a guaranteed bank.
No, 'cause if you
Batman
do- and he's-
would be, depending on who you put in that fucking role.
I don't think any superhero is a guaranteed bank if you do
Now
it wrong.
it's looking
That's how I
more.
kinda
It's
look at it.
looking more and more like they are going to recast Wolverine.
Yeah, they should.
Because the rumor mill's been generating every fucking name you can think of, including fucking Daniel Radcliffe.
I think that would be
who
great.
I wouldn't fucking mind
I
at
think that would
all.
be amazing.
And then the other one I saw was Arlie Hammer.
No.
Arnie Hammer.
No.
Who's not good.
Keep him away from
He's
everything, man.
terrible.
He is terrible.
So fuck him. This is kind of off track, but a piece of fucking casting news I just saw.
Okay.
Thor. What's his name?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth is going to play Hulk Hogan
Yes!
in the Netflix biopic.
That's so perfect.
That's
so fucking
it's being
perfect.
produced by Hulk Hogan for
Right,
Netflix.
can I just say,
oh, it's
real
gonna
talk-
be amazing.
Real talk, Chris Hemsworth. I know he's like
Hemsworth's gonna have
sexy
to.
and shit.
He's gonna have to do all the roids.
Yes, he is.
To get that bulk
And he
that
will.
he needs, that 80s bulk, but he, with the long hair,
Mm-hmm.
you put that stash on him, I'm all in.
But you know what else as well? Chris Hemsworth is low-key a master comedy actor. And, like, the amount of, like, stuff you can do with the Hulk Hogan character, I
think
can't
it's gonna
wait.
be good.
That's made me so happy. Thank you for telling me that, dude.
I heard that yesterday.
So, yeah, X-Men. My elevator pitch for how to reboot X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, have it make sense and get the best out of the characters, make $1 billion fucking dollars, okay? Listen to this, Kevin Feige. All right. So, one of the main themes of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would say, is that they take a lot of the other big movie franchises over the last 40 years. They take what works from them, they take out what doesn't work from them, and they mold them into superhero movies. Comic accuracy is secondary to them being good movies, which is important.
Okay.
With X-Men, there's a market and there's a type of audience member that they aren't really tapping into yet in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's that Harry Potter money.
Okay.
Reboot X-Men, the X-Men
Oh,
franchise
like that
as
with
Harry...
them as kids?
No, as teenagers. Okay, no, hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm
Okay, there's
alright
a good
with
reason
that.
for it. Not all of them. Okay,
I can't.
not all of them.
I think you told me you want like some of them as teachers, which that's the way they kind of had it.
Okay, yeah. So
But I don't want to see
I think
the
there's.
school.
I think I got the perfect balance for it. But here's the thing: is that this is the perfect ground to launch all the spin-offs off. Okay, so you want a Wolverine movie, you get your Wolverine movie, but it means Wolverine doesn't take over the X-Men movies.
I don't think you need a typical. Okay, I think what you got to do is you have to eliminate some characters that you think you absolutely need.
Okay, so tell me, run me through it.
So kick Professor X out. Let's say you don't even need that.
I think you do. Though.
I think you don't if you have a Jean Grey, if you have a strong, but they're gonna fuck that up anyway.
You
don't understand.
You need him in a
Phoenix-
very different role to how he's portrayed in the other movies, but you need him.
No, because you don't, because Jean's got the same power, and the way you.
It's not the power though; it's the characterization. Like
No, you need the with the school situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to tie that into an existing thing with the universe.
yeah, and there's an easy way to make it work.
Yeah, you tie it in as a fucking foundation under Tony Stark's company.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
And
don't
then that
need
also
an
gives
X.
you
don't
that also
need-
gives you an in to
he
get
by de
Spider-Man
facto
in
becomes
the
that.
X-Men movies too, and have it be totally natural. And like he has a long-standing relationship with
They're
them in the
fucking
comic
up
books.
with this
A lot
Dark
of people
Phoenix
would
thing's gonna
want it.
fuck everything up though. Apparently, and
Yeah,
they're
it's
gonna
not,
have
though.
to-
It's not,
they're gonna
though,
have to
because
shelve every character involved in that movie.
They are
because
shelving every character involved. Everything that's going on with Fox right now in the X-Men is a fucking suicide run.
yeah,
they know they're
they're
losing the
burning it
characters.
down. It's
They are burning it all down, exactly. But so the way I kind of see it is, you go back to those core X-Men, like you take like your Cyclops, your Jean Grey, like your Nightcrawler, your classic Gen 1 and Gen 2 X-Men characters. You make them work in a way that they haven't been made work before, because look at Peter Parker, for example. Like, we've seen that they can do really realistic, well done, like teenage characters. So you take Cyclops back, you take Jean Grey back, you take all the essentials except Wolverine. He's gonna stay 100 and fucking years old because he has to be.
Deadpool, you've already introduced two characters, and they can't.
Deadpool should stay Ryan Reynolds, by the way.
It's gonna stay Ryan
It
Reynolds.
has to
I
stay
would
Ryan
hope.
Reynolds.
But they're gonna if they incorporate him, then they have to incorporate the X-Men universe that he exists in.
That could actually be a good way to do it, because a lot of the stuff that I've talked about is already set up in there.
Because I like the old suits and shit. Like
Me
that.
too. That's the other thing I would do, is give them all fucking costumes. No,
Dude,
like
James
black leather
McAvoy's
and
in
shit.
Dark Phoenix too. That
Yeah.
motherfucker will do any shit movie.
I know.
He went from like a fucking potential fucking lord in the game to being a fucking clown.
I know.
I mean,
it happened real fast.
His
too.
performances aren't bad, but like the movies he's chosen, I'm sorry. I mean,
He needs to fire his agent.
fucking, I heard fucking whatever Glass was terrible.
I've heard that.
Like
too.
I heard it was good until the last 10 minutes, and that was my problem with Unbreakable. Like I nearly walked.
unsatisfying.
I like got up and was like, "Yo, I want my money back." That was the only time I ever did that. I walked out of Gangster, I think is what it was called, Original Gangsters with Lawrence Fishburne, because that movie made no damn sense. I've only walked out of a few movies in my lifetime, and there was a Ja Rule Steven Seagal prison
Oh
film
my god.
that was rated PG-13, and when I
No.
realized they weren't swearing, I was like, "They're not swearing, and they're in jail."
It's weird.
And I just was
Weird.
like, I looked at my date and I was like, "We're leaving. Bye, bye, movie. You're fucking terrible."
So going on to the next one, which is one that a lot of people have a lot of trouble with, which is Fantastic Four. And I think that the Fantastic Four's, like, cultural stock is nothing now. Like, most people just think they're the lamest superhero team in the world.
Because they are, and that's why.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So here's how you make that work, okay? They're not superheroes. They're explorers. Like,
Okay.
in the comic books, okay? So you know how Guardians of the Galaxy is, like, Marvel's answer to Star Wars, all right? You make Fantastic Four Marvel's answer to Star Trek.
Okay.
Like, one movie they could be up in space. Next movie they could be in fucking dinosaur times. Like, you can do anything with the Fantastic Four. And, like, those 4 characters work really well as, like, a family unit. Like, you don't have to tell the origin story again. You could start the first movie with them already the Fantastic Four. And Doom doesn't even need to be in the first movie. In fact, he shouldn't. My idea for a perfect first Fantastic Four movie, there's a character called Gladiator.
Okay.
Okay? And Gladiator has all of the standard, you know, like the Superman power set, like he's strong, he can fly, he's fast, all that shit, okay? But all of those powers are contingent on his self-confidence. So if he loses confidence in himself, his powers go away. Now, you could do 2 really interesting things with this character in the same movie. Number one, you could have a big theme about how dangerous pride is when it's left unchecked,
Okay.
which really relates to the character of Reed Richards and especially relates to Victor Von Doom.
Okay.
So it sets up that as being the primary theme of a potential Fantastic
See, that's
Four
my problem with
trilogy.
any Fantastic Four thing is the Doom thing. Because Doom,
Yeah, Doom, keep Doom out of it.
you got to get rid of him early, or try to.
I've got him in the pocket, but for something else, and I'll explain it to you, but you're going to like it. I promise. You have Gladiator, and you have him on an alien planet, and he is a Kim Jong-un style dictator of this planet. You've got, like, loudspeakers talking about how great he is, like he only played golf once and beat Tiger Woods. Like, all these crazy stories about it, and the idea is they're desperately trying to keep his confidence up so that he can protect them. So it's like a weird masochistic cycle of a dictatorship. And the Fantastic Four fucking lands on this planet. Somehow.
Okay.
And then the whole movie is just them dealing with that situation.
See, I think the Fantastic Four had enough tie to Captain Marvel through that way. which
Yeah, because the Skrulls are a really big figure in Fantastic
That's
Four
your
as well.
route to be able to pull them in basically at any point.
Yeah.
Because you could even write it up as they're found by somebody out there, and it's, oh, damn, y'all left in the 60s under a secret government program.
They're like not any older though.
Yeah, and they're not any older. They got these powers now, and they're like we just
they're
been
like
out
Silver Age
there.
fucking
and
superheroes,
like, the whole,
right?
Like they were part of
like
an original Shield program or something to
Yeah,
explore
yeah,
the
that
deep
could-
space, and they got lost, and they never were able to find their way home. And this is their return.
That could be fun.
And it could even be a type of thing where they're sitting in front of, like, I told you, like, World War Z, the book was more like a war, like a war journal thing. It could be the 4 of you, tell us about the last 40 years. What did you do? What did you see? How did you survive? And it's, well, we went here and encountered these people, and they helped us and tried to point us in the right direction to get home, but couldn't. You know what I mean? And we've been out there, and while we were out there, we got blasted with a star exploded, and that kicked us in another direction, and we ended up here, but we had these powers and all this. You know, you could do shit like that and have it be like a series of things, and, oh, you're back now. Okay. Now, you say about the X-Men thing, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do, because the list of confirmed movies that come after Endgame, the first one's Dark Phoenix, which you can't really even count.
It's not an MCU movie.
But
Once that cycle is over,
it's the last film before that shit.
Yeah.
Far From Home.
Yep.
With Mysterio, so that's
going to be dope.
Yeah, New Mutants, August 2nd.
That's like the last gasp, but
The
that might not
movie
even come out.
No, New
I've heard
Mutants
that
got
might
a
not
new
even
release
come
date,
out.
August 2nd.
Okay.
Revolves around a group of teenage mutants who are trying to get in terms with their superpowers. There you go.
I've seen the trailer for that, and it actually looks kind of interesting. It's a
Morbius,
horror
I'm not
movie.
interested. See, okay, Morbius with Jared Leto as Morbius.
I fucking hate that. That's a Sony one, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Now, but here's the thing.
No.
They absorbed that character too then.
No.
But the MCU is going to get that character back. So Jared Leto does Morbius. Morbius brings in the idea of a vampire.
Yeah, he's like a
And
he's like a vampire through genetic engineering.
And that gives you your work to bring Blade in. And what you do
Like
is you
in the
bring
90s Spider-Man
bring
cartoon.
Blade bring Blade into a movie that's not a Blade movie.
Yeah.
And introduce and through that introduce the idea of maybe he has a son that he didn't know about that's got the same power.
Okay.
and have something happen to Blade in that movie, and then the new Blade just takes it on, kind of shit.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2, fucking obviously. Doc Strange 2, which, whatever, man. We're going to see how fucking Endgame goes.
Yeah,
Because
they're all waiting to see how Endgame goes before they can.
But I think that character won a lot of people over in Endgame because of the...
Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
yeah. He was
banter.
great. He's much better as like a character in other people's movies for sure. Regarding Black Panther, though, so this is my idea for Black Panther 2, in terms of the perfect place they can take it regarding the themes that were created in the first movie and carrying those themes over and exploring them in a new way. So there's two big themes, which is Wakanda's place in the world, and what it means to be like a ruler, like a king.
Right.
You know, whether you can be a king or a good man at the same time. And I'm going to run you through my plot synopsis, and you can take questions at the end. So we start out, remember the Wakandan outreach centers?
Yeah.
So there's one in Harlem, and a little girl's been murdered
Okay.
by vibranium technology, like a little girl from Harlem.
Okay.
So Black Panther goes out there to investigate, and the first act of the movie is him in fucking Black America, like directly interacting with Black America and trying to solve this mystery of how this could have possibly happened. Okay, so that's the thing. He's away from Wakanda, and on Wakanda there's this new like radical preacher coming out who's like winning the people over. He's very charismatic, like kind of like imagine like Joel Osteen crossed with Jim Jones with a little bit of Idi Amin thrown in. Okay, played by Will Smith.
Okay.
All right, he's a bad guy. Big coup there. That's how you get Will Smith into these, which obviously they want to do because he's marketable as hell. And Suicide Squad, that's not happening.
No, I think because of that, he's never going to be in.
I don't think so.
As a fucking major character in the MCU.
He's not a major character.
I can only assume that they're just bringing Killmonger back in some form or fashion.
They will, but they'll save it, I think, for the third one.
So who could be the villain in the next movie? Like that's the thing.
This is the thing. I got
for
the
every
perfect
movie, they got to have a new villain. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is really the only one where you're going to be able to squeeze multiple movies out of him.
No, I got one. You can squeeze multiple movies out of him, and you introduce him in Black Panther 2.
Who?
Okay, so the investigation into how this happened leads him to the embassy of this little Eastern European country called Latveria, that no one's ever heard of, and no one knows anything about. The only things they know.
Doom's the.
No,
see?
Listen. So here's the thing.
Fuck you! I told you, keep Doom out of my
No,
purview.
keep Doom out in the fucking
Because
MCU because Doom is the
my opinion,
fucking
the
GOAT
guy-
villain of all of Marvel.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah. What do you know about Doom? Let's hear this. What's your perception of Doom? Because I need to know before I process.
Doom got ruined for me because Doom, in my opinion, the guy who did him in the movies, the most.
Oh yeah.
He's awful.
Yes, I agree.
And two, I think Destro was a better Doom than Doom was.
All right.
Destro was a far better Doom than Doom was.
Okay, so
In my fucking opinion, and they're the same fucking character.
they're not the same character.
Destro and Doom are the same character.
No, they're not, man. All right, so here's what you need to know about Doom, because those movies, they don't fucking count. That's not Doom, okay? That's fucking Dino. That's Doom in name only. Okay, none of those movies represent the character right. They don't, okay?
I can't deal
this
with
is Doom, and this is Doom.
But I get your
that
point.
not only works
so
perfectly.
you got an evil version of the Black Panther in his hidden
He's
country.
not evil. That's the thing, though. He's
You
not
gotta make him evil. His
No,
fucking
no,
name's
man.
Doom.
I know. No, yeah, his
There's
last.
a reason his name is Doom.
Yeah, because it's his surname. It's actually his surname is Doom. But get this, get over the fact that his surname is Doom. Get over the fact that he wears like a fucking medieval suit of armor that's like somehow stronger than Iron
But he's
Man's.
a good guy.
He's not a good guy.
With his chroma green fucking cloak and his metal mask, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Not a good guy. Not a good guy. A complicated guy. Yeah. Here's the thing. I know. It's mind blowing until you see it, man. But here's the thing. So he's the king of this country in Eastern Europe that's not affiliated with any major power, like not part of the European Union, not anything. It's like Wakanda. Everyone thinks it's poor, but in reality, it's like Wakanda for Europeans. Because this is the thing about Doom. Yeah, he tries to take over the world.
Man, you really trying to flex some white privilege in this movie.
Fuck yeah.
And that's the other thing.
That's,
you can't have Doom show up in Black Panther and have him be a good guy.
No, he's not a good guy. He's going to be Black Panther's fucking enemy for
Well, that's
99%
what I mean. So
of the
there
movie.
you go. You're making him a bad guy.
He's a bad guy in the circumstances because this is the thing about Doom, okay? Doom's not going to be like the final antagonist of the movie because this is all a fucking stitch up by that preacher. He wants to instigate a war between Wakanda and Latveria
you're
because
trying
of his
to play
beliefs.
some fucking big game and nobody's gonna get it.
No, everyone's going to get it because this happened in Black Panther 1 and people fucking loved it.
People hated all the white people in Black Panther.
Why
That was the point.
Yeah, so what? I don't care.
some
It was a
degree-
good movie. It was a good movie.
To some degree,
it did some good adaptations
all
of the comics.
All the white characters were designed to be hateable. And even the bad guy who was the same race as him was more likable than the bad guy.
Okay, but like
white.
Everett Ross and Claw, who are the only two white people in that movie, are very fucking hateable in the comics too, so I don't mind. I thought they were both really, really well portrayed. I thought that movie was like... I don't agree with all the politics, but it was a 9 out of 10
I don't
for me.
see needing...
It was a 9 out of 10 for me. It was one of the best comic book movies
I can't
I've
see
seen.
the next one being as good, because a lot of the surprise
I think they
is
could
over.
if they bring in Doom, because that would be a surprise.
Well, no, but I mean, a lot of the surprise of, how are they going to portray Wakanda? How are they? Because that was what a lot of people wanted to see, and what kept a lot of people. That's what I heard a lot about, was like the design of Wakanda.
Another thing with, if you bring in Doom, another problem that there's two problems that it solves for me. Two problems I had with the Black Panther movie, personally, and Doom I think would be a good cure to those. Number one is that T'Challa is fucking invincible.
Okay.
For like 9/10 of that movie, like the Black Panther
Well, yeah,
suit
because the Black Panther
is incredibly overpowered and shit. Here's the thing:
he is incredibly
you know,
overpowered.
Doom is basically Iron Man crossed with Doctor Strange,
Yeah,
right?
I
like
do,
he has
I'm
all the
aware.
magic and shit and the technology. Like Black Panther can't beat him in a straight up fight.
But that's
like
what
it
I
would be a
mean.
stomp.
It
And the other like I think kind of issue with the Black Panther movie is that the third act is kind of unfulfilling.
All right.
Because it's very much like a they fight, okay? So what I'm proposing is, you know Doom?
Okay.
He's being framed for all of this.
All right.
And he's being framed by that preacher guy.
Okay.
And the reason, and it's kind of like a big, like a Kaiser Sose kind of thing. And the other big reveal is that the Doom that T'Challa's been talking to the whole time and has like kicked his ass a couple of times isn't even Doom. It's a fucking Doom bot. Like, you don't meet the real Doom at any point in the whole movie. And the thing about Doom is like an Earth-level villain that can be like a Thanos-level threat if he needs to be.
Now, what do you think is going on? Netflix just canceled fucking Punisher.
I think they're going to reboot all those shows on their Disney
Do you think
Plus
that's
streaming
Netflix canceling, or do you think that's Disney coming with a number they just don't want to pay?
It's Disney wanting all those characters for their streaming service.
Disney
It's
Plus,
exactly,
because they're doing
those characters are probably all going to come back.
Well, no, I mean we already know they're doing a Loki series for the Disney Plus. They're doing a Scarlet Witch Vision series.
That's fun.
Which is going to be like fucking a love story. I assume it's going to
Good.
be when Harry and Sally
I
met
want
a
to see
robot.
that. I really want to see that. I kind of feel like I like those two as like
I don't
a
know
couple.
who Sif is. Who's Lady Sif?
Lady Sif is the chick that Ford like should get with but doesn't in like
They're-
the first two movies.
They're saying that she's going to be getting her own series.
Okay, cool. She's a cool character. I like that.
There's going to be a Hawkeye series.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I'd rather get fucking Ronin than Hawkeye. Nobody gives a fuck about Bucky and the Falcon. Y'all can fucking step off with that. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Do you think they're gonna do one
Captain
of them becoming
Marvel
Captain
2,
America
Miss Marvel.
when Captain America dies in Endgame? Do you think they're gonna have someone else like pick up the shield and shit?
Who fucking no? You gotta get rid of. You can't have nobody come in and do Captain America. I think we lose him and we lose Iron Man.
Yeah, me too.
And it puts them both, just puts them to bed. And then if they're mentioned, it's mentioned in like other shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd
kind of like to see someone take on the role of Captain America.
'Cause Miss
and a
Marvel,
big
they're
thing of
saying
that
that
being
there's
that they like don't live up to it.
Kamala Khan showing up in the sequel.
I'd rather have Kamala Khan than fucking Carol Danvers. This is another thing. You know what you were talking about with Black Panther and Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Black Panther it has been really popular for like 20 years at least and has had really, really good stories for like almost 50 years at least. Okay?
Okay.
Captain Marvel doesn't have one good story and most people hate her.
All
read
right.
comics.
And I think that's why Kevin Feige's like, we can do whatever we want and it's an improvement.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to complain about
Exactly.
what we did to the character.
I just wish that the actress would not talk because it's poisoned the movie's
But yeah,
perception
they're
now.
talking about Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, but I guess there's a West Coast Avengers.
That's cool. That's going to be really good.
But who is that even?
West Coast Avengers is the Avengers like C team. It's all the guys who aren't good enough to get in the main team.
So but
imagine
it's like
like
LA.
Police Academy.
Okay.
Imagine Police Academy set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's very comedy focused. There's a dude called Immortal Man whose superpower is that he just can't die. But the problem is that's his only superpower. So it would just be him dying over and over again and like coming back to life. And there's another one, I think she's called like Big Butter or something, and she's a supermodel who gets super strength, but to get super strength she has to become like the size of a sumo wrestler.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of fun characters. Hawkeye would be in there as well because he's like the leader of that team.
Let's see.
Like imagine straight-laced, serious, fucking family man Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, okay, I
having
see
to deal
Hawkeye.
with a
All right.
bunch of like fucking whacker
Oh,
jobs.
all right,
Like that
no,
would be
but-
fun. That's a fun premise for
Okay,
like a comedy action
I'm
movie.
into this.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a really good use of that character too. Like
Let's
there's a
see.
lot of stuff you can do with Hawkeye that they don't. The version of Hawkeye that's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a bad representation of what Hawkeye
Who's
can be as a character.
Mockingbird? That just looks like a bootleg Daredevil to me.
Mockingbird is like a less cool Black Widow. And
Alright.
she's like, the only thing that's really
Wonder
notable about...
Man.
Wonder Man's cool. Wonder Man could be good.
He's just a big ass dude.
Wonder Man is a movie star who becomes a superhero.
Well, Iron Man.
But like an actual movie star, like an actor
Okay.
who gains like superpowers and shit.
Tigra.
It's weird. It's a weird choice. Are these things that are definitely
No,
happening?
no, these are
Potentials.
This is who's on the team.
Oh,
Like overall.
Damn, son. That's
Iron Man. And this is the thing is that. Wow.
Yeah. See, that's
No,
the thing
because
is-
if they do West Coast Avengers, they can bring Iron Man back.
Yeah.
But it's not Iron Man. Iron Man actually being Jim Rhodes as opposed to Tony Stark.
That's so perfect. And
He
that's
was
the
the
one...
guy. He was the Rhodes. So Rhodes takes up Iron Man. Well, then that okay.
Yeah, he does that a few times.
All right,
in the
I'm
comics,
into
yeah.
that. I'm into Rhodes.
I
as
think he's
Iron
the
Man.
one dude who could replace Robert Downey Jr. that wouldn't
Yeah,
piss people off.
no, and I don't think it would because that follows the line. Like, especially if he dies in fucking
Infinity
because
War, yeah.
like if he dies in Infinity War and it's such where fucking metal iron freedom whatever the fuck they can
Iron
predict him.
Patriot.
I am Iron Patriot. Fucking iron like dying in Iron Patriot's arms or something, and like
He's War Machine again now. Iron Patriot was like a
Yeah.
one movie thing.
but yeah he could move
Yeah.
up and do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would also.
But that could also bring in the Thing because the Thing was one at one point.
I think that either
like yeah,
Bucky
West Coast
or-
Avengers to me just looks like let's do a mashup.
Yeah, it's just going to be a comedy movie
Let's
probably.
do a fucking
Yeah.
mashup.
And that's a good move, I think.
Ultimate Marvel, the secret team of the Ultimates. The team featured Quake as the leader,
no.
Wonder Man, Vision, Black Knight, and Tigra. The team was assigned to kill Osama bin Laden. That's a weird fucking storyline. I never liked, and I always thought it was disingenuous to some degree. But like, I don't need a Spider-Man 9/11 arc. I really didn't. I know that New York's an important city to Marvel and stuff. But whenever it was something really real they were trying to deal with in a comic book, like the worst was Spider-Man's going to save this kid from his abusive dad. Like, no, like, you don't need a superhero
No,
for
man.
that.
The worst one was when Harry Osborn got addicted to pills.
Yo, like, I don't need
And they weren't allowed to specify which pills, so they just said drugs.
Yeah, I don't.
Like Harry Osborn turned into the Green Goblin because of drugs.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's definitely not
Man,
the
I'm so
move.
glad they're never going to do like the comic book Green Goblin thing, because like that character gets mythologized a lot, and yeah, it would be cool to get like a decent version of him for once. But like the first Green Goblin's Norman Osborn, which everyone knows. The second one is Harry Osborn, which most people know because of the Spider-Man movies. The third one is Harry Osborn's fucking therapist, who like just decides to do it and gets his ass kicked immediately.
Let's see, what do we have to look forward to? Captain Marvel, March 8th. Shazam, April 5th.
I'm looking forward to that. That looks fun. I love fucking Shazam.
I'm actually into Hellboy now.
Me too. It looks
Way more than I was.
I think it was just a rough adjustment period because it's so different.
Avengers Endgame in April as well.
Very much looking forward to that.
Dark Phoenix, which is going to flop.
Yes,
Spider-Man.
that's going to be good.
That's July 5th. That'll be a big weekend. And And I mean, it looks like fucking whatchamacallit's got a date on here of August 2nd, just like I said.
Okay, we'll see.
Which is weird. I mean, obviously, if they've got it scheduled out,
I mean, they're
needs to at
probably
least be
just
done
like
enough
getting
to
this
be
year
able to
out.
schedule.
You know what I mean? Here's a fun question for you. Do you want to see another Deadpool movie, or do you just want Deadpool to pop into other people's movies?
Just let Deadpool pop into other
Me
shit.
too.
Like, I mean, I'd like to see another Deadpool movie, but it doesn't have to be tied to nothing. Because tying him to stuff opens up a whole fucking conundrum of shit that you necessarily don't want
I
to
think
have happen, I would assume, right? Because it just makes it hard on the writers. Like,
just have him pop in and have no canon attached to him, and just him be the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. He shows in, makes a fighting, maybe beats up a couple bad guys, and then pops out. He could be the new Stan Lee.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Shazam's up in the air. That could easily fucking shit the bed.
Everything I've seen from that looks pretty good. So I don't know. But then DC has a pretty bad track record, and they're gonna have to do something with their universe. What would you do to like fix DC? Because like all of the Justice League are gone except like fucking Wonder Woman and Aquaman now.
That's fucking stupid.
What?
They got The Rock playing Black Adam, but they're not going to use him in Shazam.
It's dumb.
They're waiting, and they're going to do just
Why?
a separate Black Adam movie.
Why? Why?
Fucking Scorpion King. That's why. He learned a long time ago. I only got to be in this movie for 5 fucking minutes, and I can get 9 sequels out of it. He did it with The Mummy. He did it with fucking Fast and Furious, where he's like, "Oh, I'll co-star," and then I got my own. Now. I'm just gonna do my own shit now and put your fucking name on it. Like, he's done that his whole career, to some degree.
I really want like a proper Superman movie. I don't think
Hellboy should be dope.
We've never had a real Superman movie, in my opinion. He's never been like represented right, and that's as such.
I don't think I care anymore. I think
Exactly though, people
they've ran that shit through the ringer, and we've all know the story is not different. Without doing some like crazy adjustment to it, like making him fucking Mexican. Like, I think that would be cool, seeing specific stories.
You know what I think would be a crazy adjustment and would make Superman relevant again? Make him an interesting fucking person. That's the problem with all of those movies, is he's bland as fuck. And the reason why is because everyone, when they see Superman, they fixate on the Boy Scout thing and they fixate on the superpowers. Okay? And what I want to see is a movie about the guy underneath all that. What I want to see is Clark Kent, the human being. And this is the thing, in those movies, like the new DC movies, he's just a moody asshole.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and like that's not who Superman is to me. Superman to me is like, he's not only is he the nicest guy in the world, but he's the most like interesting guy
I don't
in the
think the
world.
story resonates with people the way it did 50 years ago. That's why somebody like Iron Man, who I was expecting, because he's flawed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what? You know what Superman's main flaw is that never really gets exploited? It's the fact that he thinks because he's the most powerful, he has to do everything and he can't rely on anyone else. And that would be, I think, a really interesting jumping off point. Because I always believe that when it comes to like movies and shit, like the way it looks and the external stuff should come secondary, and like the main overlying message should come first.
Yeah, but what's the overlying message of Superman is duty above all else. And that's something that's not, I mean, that was something that connected people in the 50s.
I don't know, man. I would say, yeah, old school Superman, yeah, like back when he was.
But there is no
like
new school Superman. Superman was a fairly well one-dimensional character for the most part.
I would say that,
except for certain story arcs.
Mid-2000s
if you're going to do certain story arcs, then that's great. Something that I found out that was awesome recently was Kevin Smith's script for The Death of Superman is actually in the case at the Secret Stash in New Jersey, and they'll let you read it if you want. Apparently there's blunt burns in it from Kevin Smith's blunts while he was reading it, but you can read it. I want to read it.
I want to read it.
Because that was the story I always wanted to see, was the death and the rise of the Superman. It's the only thing I give a fuck about. Because then you can introduce the Justice League as like a group of assholes, because they were in that frame. They let Doomsday come here. Because they wanted to see if he could. They wanted to see if he could kill Superman. Because they knew they couldn't.
I have issues with that personally.
But I
don't
think
know.
Batman's fucking. I think that's a washed fucking property at the moment.
I
unless
think
you
he
do
needs
something
to be
drastic.
retired for a while. Personally,
This Joker movie's not gonna have a fucking Batman in it. So I don't understand what the point of that shit is.
it's a weird standalone thing.
It is a weird standalone thing.
I think the best way to like do Batman and revitalize him is to do a movie that's like, say Batman's been Batman for like 3 years or whatever. He's not the main character. Dick Grayson is the main character, and it's like him. You start off with like his parents being murdered because everyone's seen the Bruce Wayne's parents being murdered.
Yeah, but that's
like
the
they've
thing,
seen it a
it's
billion
so
fucking
washed.
times.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Though,
Now
Billy.
we need
imagine,
new stuff.
Imagine looking at Batman through the eyes of a 12-year-old boy, and you go through the process of idolizing this. He's Bruce Wayne and he's Batman. He's
Yeah.
the coolest fucking guy in the
Yeah, but
world.
he's not.
And then you see him fucking break a guy's hand for information. Like, imagine that process of like
I just
slowly
don't think-
becoming disillusioned, and then at the end of the movie, Dick fucking walks.
No, you gotta like pull something. They're DC's fucking up the TV game.
Yeah, they are. Like,
So-
I tell you what, Titans, I was super into that, and the last episode just fucking killed me.
They just need to like figure out what they want to do and do it. Marvel seems to have their shit together. DC's kind of like whatever. They seem
I
to do
agree.
the- Obviously, Aquaman was supposedly good. I never saw it. But I mean, this is what you're writing about
Sometimes,
for the
here and
most
there.
part.
Here and there, here and there.
That's cool. Maybe I should fucking sit down. But I know writing a spec script isn't even.
Oh, in terms of
a
like, authorial
pointless-
stuff, you mean?
Yeah,
At the moment, I'm mainly working on a new novel,
Oh, right.
actually, and
that's why you told me about that.
yeah. So yeah, I'll give you the pitch for that quickly, actually.
Yeah.
See if that sounds like something. So, it's set in the future. It's like your kind of standard sci-fi setting. Humans are kind of out there. They're new to the galaxy. A lot of aliens don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine we're at the last day of a huge war between humanity and this other alien race called the Valdos.
Okay.
And it's like World War One
Alright.
in space. But it's the final fucking battle of this war. This is chapter 1.
Okay.
Okay. So the circumstances are, if they lose this battle, they can just come to Earth and just like glass it.
Okay.
So we open in on the lieutenant commander of a mid-range cruiser in the middle of the fucking firefight. He's got like a bullet wound in his fucking arm, and he's rushing to the bridge. Save the captain, save the ship is the only thing going through his head. Okay? So various trials and tribulations happen. He manages to get to the bridge. Captain's already fucking dead.
All right.
He's failed at his first duty, but he can still save the ship. So he saves the ship while it's being boarded. Pulls off some fucking Sun Tzu shit. Manages to get the ship free, contacts the admiral who's like managing everything, like the fleet commander, and the fleet commander tells him there's a chink in the enemy's formation, there's a break in their armor, we need you to push through it. So he gets the crew together, he gets them all like rallied and stuff, he takes command, and he does it. He gets them through the fucking hole in the enemy formation, almost gets fucking blown to pieces doing it, but he does it. So he's out the other end. The battle's behind him. Their mother world is right in front of
Okay.
him, and he gets an order from the admiral
To destroy it.
to destroy it,
I think
to
we got that
nuke
far
it
when
from
I talked
fucking
to you.
orbit. And the helmsman is like, "No, I won't do this." And the captain says, "If you don't do this, I'll do it myself." And he sits down and he pushes the trigger because it's his duty.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he looks at it. Like, it's duty above everything else. So he pulls the trigger. We flash forward 5 years. He's going to be the captain of the first ever mixed species spacecraft. It's like the League of Nations.
Yeah, but he's almost like Hitler.
To some people, yeah. To
and
some
then-
people, he's like Hitler. And to some people,
I know you're
he's like...
putting somebody from that planet on there
Yes.
that's left and things like that. I don't want you to give the whole thing away.
I'm not. That's the first chapter. There's like a bunch more chapters.
But where can you said you had a new Facebook and stuff? Drop
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh, it's R Molyneux on Facebook.
All right.
So just
I'll make sure to
just
link
put
it
me on
below.
there.
I think we got enough. I want an hour and a half. I'm sitting
I,
here
uh,
yawning
I-
because I'm higher than fucking shit.
I make fun of communism a lot.
You like making fun of communism.
I do like making fun of communism because not enough people do it. Not enough people realize that it's the worst ideology in the fucking world. So I feel like it's kind of a duty in a way to. I don't know, spread the truth.
Well, we'll have to have you on to talk about that one day. I want to thank the bloke Ryan for coming through as he often does. I'm absolutely certain you heads are going to see him around these parts again sometime very soon. This week, Beard's on the road, depending on when and where you're listening or watching this. Tuesday, February 26th, Lebanon, Maine, and Wednesday, the 27th, in Boston, Massachusetts. Beast host presiding over a pair of Axe's family shows featuring Alazul Ilu, Axe Murder Boys, Triple MFD, and many more. Thursday night, join me right back here on the YouTube or wherever you're at for the Me and My Patrons live shit, all interaction and whatnot. We got a new Beard Speaks Again coming this weekend, and I will see you all back here next week for episode 215, tentatively titled Toxic Avenger Teachings. The Beard has spoken. The Beard Speaks would like to thank our sponsors, Beard Love. Visit mybeardlove.com/beasthost and get 10% off on all the wonderful oils, washes, and balms available in a multitude of fragrances from Beard Love. Did you ever wish you could have a beard just like Chuck Reeves, the Beast host? Well, you can. You just need time, you need laziness, a desire never to shave, and then, of course, you need some Beard Love. mybeardlove.com.